So basically, that wire wound resistors are available with somewhat high wattage. You might have seen such type of device in our lab also, is it? So you will observe here the value for that resistor in terms of its resistance as well as in terms of its power handling capacity. Both are given, that is 10 watt, and 2R is written over here. That R stands for ohm number. So if it is written as 10 watt and 10 R, that means this wire resistor is of 10 watt and 10 ohm. And its internal structure is also shown over here. A small ceramic material on which that resistive wire is wounded and which is connected the external terminals for external connection, right? The resistance of that total wire wounded on that ceramic material, it will going on to decide the value of resistance of that resistor, and the capacity of current handling of that wire, it will going on to decide the wattage. So how that wattage is to be calculated and all that, that also we will discuss in the next slide. So next one here, I will try to differentiate the various types of resistors in terms of their power handling capacity. Okay. So see here, the first resistor over here is I written, that is of SMD type. SMD stands for surface mountable devices. You can note it that SMD it stands for, it is a surface mountable devices which is very small in size, and as they are very small in size, their power handling capacity is also very less. So in our lab, that is of quarter watt, that is 1/4 watt, that is nothing but 250 milliwatt. And then you might have seen some resistors somewhat more in size as compared to remaining. I tried to show it over here. This shown single resistor, it is somewhat large in size as compared to previous, right? Then again, one more resistor which is somewhat large in size as compared to previous. And last one, that is wire wound. Already I told about its construction and the power handling capacity. So it is largest in size, we can say, in these 6 type of resistors. Now see how the values are to be calculated. For this SM type of resistor, number is written over there. With a naked eye, we can't read that number also. That's why I'm saying these resistors are of very small in size, which are basically used for small signal applications, as the power handling capacity is very small. So see how the value of that resistor is to be determined. Here the number written, you might be capable to see that number. It is written as 100. Is it? So the first 2 digits, note down it as it is, that is 10 into 10 again. This is compulsory, you have to write. And the third number is the power of that 10. Are you getting that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So the first resistor type, how the resistance of that SMD type of resistor is to be determined. Here I given that example. The number is written as 100. That's first of all, note down first 2 digits as it is. That is 10 into 10. That 10 you have to write compulsory, and the third digit, that is the power of 10. That means it is 10 raised to 0. So 10 raised to 0 is 1, and that means the value of this resistor in terms of its resistance, it is of 10 ohm. Clear? Now we'll switch to next type of resistor over here, which is CFR type, as only 3 color bands are there for its resistance measurement, and fourth one is the tolerance. So the colors are brown, black, and already I explained how the value of that resistor is to be determined. First 2 colors, their number as it is. Brown assigned number is 1. For black, the number assigned is 0. Into 10 again compulsory you have to write, and its power, that is the number assigned to the third color band, and that is again black, and that's why for black the assigned number is 0. That means 10 into 10 raised to 0. Again this resistance is of 10 ohm. Then third one, which is somewhat large in size as compared to previous. The number that color bands are again same, that is brown, black, black. Again, as per our previous discussion, it is to be determined and will be of 10 ohm. Now fourth, which is again somewhat large in size as compared to previous, the color bands are same, that is brown, black, black, and hence its value will be of 10 ohm. And the last one, that value is already written directly, 10R, that 10R stands for, it is of 10 ohm, right? So you will observe all resistors are of 10 ohm, but why they differ in size. The size of that resistor, remember over here, the size of resistor increases according to increase in their power handling capacity. And that's why I written here in the second row, that is 1 by 8 watt, that means 125 milliwatt. That is the power handling capacity almost of that SMD components. Then whatever resistors you use in our lab during your regular practicals, that resistors are of quarter watt, which is shown in the second column, and its power handling capacity is written as 1 by 4 watt. That means quarter watt, and that is nothing but 250 milliwatt. The resistor you might have seen somewhat more than that of somewhat large than that of the CFR which we use, that is of half watt, that means 500 milliwatt. Then this resistor is of 2 watt and the last one is of 10 watt. So you will observe the value in terms of resistance is same for all resistors, but the sizes differ. This last one, it is largest one, as its power handling capacity is 10 watt. And the first one, which is SMD, smallest in size, the power handling capacity is only 125 milliwatt, or it may be somewhat less than that also. Here, I shown the size, that means the length of that component in the last row. SMD, it is of 2 mm in size. Then this one is of 5 mm almost, excluding the terminal links. Only the body length of that quarter watt resistor, it is almost closer to 5 mm. Then this half watt, it is of 7.5 mm. Then this 2 watt, which is of 15 mm. The last one, it is largest in size, as the power handling capacity is maximum, is of 40 mm. So is it clear now? What is the difference between the various resistors in terms of their power handling capacity and the size? So the conclusion of this topic is what, whenever the size of that particular component increases, its power handling capacity also gets increased. Is it clear up to over here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now we'll switch to the next type of that resistor, that is variable type. Again, during your basic electronics practical, the teacher might have shown you these various types of resistors, and you may be familiar with the name given to them. This first one, that is presets, this is available in our lab. All these resistors are available in our lab. So you might have seen it. This preset, it is nothing but variable resistor. You might have heard that word potentiometer. For this potentiometer word, you may be most familiar, right? All these are the potentiometers. Potentiometer, it is nothing but just like a variable resistor. So the common name. So all these are the variable resistors. So this preset is smallest in size, and we can change its resistance by varying this terminal which is provided on that preset. It is again the terminal. Out of that, we can short any two, or it is not mandatory. A two terminals are to get shorted. Why? That also we will discuss in our next slide. Then this one, which is manufactured from the ceramic material, and that's why its name is Cermat. Then trim pot. This is nothing but multi-turn potentiometer, and you might have handled this our regular conventional potentiometer. There is one rotary knob which can rotate somewhat less than 360 degree, not completely 360. If it rotates 60 degree, then it will be a faulty potentiometer. It will going on to rotate from, suppose, this terminal up to over here. That means somewhat less than 360 degree. Okay. Again, there are three terminals. This potentiometer, how it is to be used, that also we will discuss when we see the basic construction of this potentiometer. Then you will get clear how that resistance gets changed. Then sliding potentiometer, somewhat the same function. And the last one shown here, that is a rheostat. Again, you might have seen this variable resistor either in electrical lab or in our basic electronics lab. That is rheostat. Again, it is just acting as a variable resistor, but these rheostats are used mostly for high power applications. That means the power handling capacity of a rheostat, it is maximum as compared to all these shown. Now, the preset, then this manufactured from ceramic material, then trim pot, or this sliding potentiometers. These variable resistors are mostly preferred as a PCB mountable variable resistor, as they are very small in size. Power handling capacity is also somewhat less as compared to conventional potentiometers, or the, we can say, this rotary potentiometer. The power handling capacity of these four, it is somewhat less. And as they are small in size, we can easily mount it on the printed circuit boards, that is PCB. That in detail you will going on to study in the next year whenever you will going on to learn the design subject. Now the next type of variable resistor, that is thermistor. As name indicates, it is temperature dependent. That thermistors are available in two types. Generally, they are known as NTC and PTC. NTC stands for negative temperature coefficient and PTC stands for positive temperature coefficient. Now, what we mean by that NTC and PTC? Negative temperature coefficient means what? Whenever there will be increase in temperature around this device, its resistance gets decreased, and vice versa. That means if temperature increases, the resistance also gets increased in case of PTC. But in case of NTC, increase in temperature decreases the resistance and vice versa. So remember, these thermistors are available in two types, that is known as NTC and PTC. And last one, not last, so many are there, but here just I taken few examples. This one, that is light dependent resistor, LDR. So again, that name itself indicates its resistance is dependent on light. The light intensity, it will be on to decide the resistance offered by this device. So generally in the data sheet, the dark resistance is provided. Dark resistance means in the absence of light, how much will be the resistance, and that resistance will be maximum. That's why the dark resistance value, it is provided by the manufacturer in the data sheet of this device. So all these are the variable resistors. Now, before going to that first one, I will try to show you how that potentiometer works. So see, you might have seen that potentiometer somewhat like this device. There are three terminals for the external connections taken out like this, is it? And one more rotary knob which is provided over here. Yes or no? My drawing is not that much good. I'm poor in drawing, so try to understand it. Is it? So you might have seen such type of device. Is it? Already I told this rotary knob, it will go on to rotate like this, but the rotation, it will be less than 360 degree. If it rotates continuously or greater than 360 or equals to 360, then it will be a faulty potentiometer. Clear? These are the terminals. These are the terminals, and generally it is said that any outer two terminals are to be get shorted like this. Is it? But it is not mandatory. Remember, it should get sorted. It is not mandatory. So how this device works, first of all, I will try to show it. I will show you the front view now. Or we can say this is the top view of that device. There are 3 terminals for external connections like this. Now remember, there is one resistive plate which is stick inside the periphery of that external body of that potentiometer like this. Okay. So there is one resistive plate which starts from this terminal and ends over here. So see, you will observe that plate is not taking that complete, or it is not circular. This much middle part, there is no any that resistive plate, right? So the length of that resistive plate, it is this much only. Clear? And that plate, it is just stick inside the body of that potentiometer. This outer one, this is a plastic material, insulating material, right? Now, over here, there is one, again, there is one more metal part which gets slide over this resistive plate, which starts from this end and ends over here, right? So this metal part, or we can say needle, whenever we are rotating that rotary switch or rotary knob, internally that needle, it is assembled with that rotary knob so that it can slide from start up to over here. Are you getting what I am saying over here?
Yes,
Hello
sir.
everyone. Are you getting what I am saying? Just
Yes.
try to understand
Yes,
it.
sir.
Huh? Remotely it is somewhat difficult to me, but still try to understand it, right? Now remember this needle which gets slide over that resistive plate, it is again internally connected to the middle terminal of that potentiometer. Okay? That needle is connected to the middle terminal, and extra outer 2 terminals, these 2 terminals, where they are connected to the stationary resistive plate, which is stick inside that device. These are the
Yes.
terminals,
Yes, sir.
and generally it is said that any outer 2 terminals are to be get shorted like this, is it? But it is not mandatory, remember. It should get sorted. It is not mandatory. So how this device works, first of all, I will try to show it. I will show you the front view now. Or we can say this is the top view of that device. There are 3 terminals for external connections like this. Now remember, there is one resistive plate which is stick inside the periphery of that external body of that potentiometer like this. Okay. So there is one resistive plate which starts from this terminal and ends over here. So see, you will observe that plate is not taking that complete, or it is not circular. This much middle part, there is no any that resistive plate, right? So the length of that resistive plate, it is this much only. Clear? And that plate, it is just stick inside the body of that potentiometer. This outer one, this is a plastic material, insulating material, right? Now, over here, there is one, again, there is one more metal part which gets slide over this resistive plate, which starts from this end and ends over here, right? So this metal part, or we can say needle, whenever we are rotating that rotary switch or rotary knob, internally that needle, it is assembled with that rotary knob so that it can slide from start up to over here. Are you getting what I am saying over here?
Yes,
Hello
sir.
everyone. Are you getting what I am saying? Just
Yes.
try to understand
Yes,
it.
sir.
Huh? Remotely it is somewhat difficult to me, but still try to understand it. Right. Now remember this needle which gets slide over that resistive plate, it is again internally connected to the middle terminal of that potentiometer. Okay? That needle is connected to the middle terminal and extra outer two terminals, these two terminals, where they are connected to the stationary resistive plate, which is stick inside that device. समजतंय मी काय म्हटलंय ते?
Yes, sir.
Okay, middle that metallic needle, it is connected to the middle terminal of that potentiometer, while outer two terminals are connected to the fixed resistive plate which is stick inside that device. Is it? So outer two terminals are fixed, while middle one through the needle it is movable. Am I right? Now suppose I will just going on to place that a rotary plate at one position, and then we will discuss what will going on to happen. Initially, I will going on to place that plate over here. Here we can say exactly at the center of that internal resistive plate, where I connected that needle or where I placed that metallic needle by that external rotary knob. I place it exactly at the center. Okay. Suppose this potentiometer, it is of 10 kilo ohm potentiometer. It is somewhat difficult by the stylus. Okay. So this potentiometer, it is of 10K. It is of 10K means what? Whatever the resistive plate is there inside that device, end to end, if we measure the resistance over here, if I try to measure the resistance across the outer two terminal of this device, it will be equals to 10K. That is the meaning. Right? That means the total resistive plate have the resistance of 10 kilo ohm. Getting? Now, just remove this DMM from here and now connect that DMM across any one outer terminal with respect to middle. That means if I connected now that ohm meter DMM at this terminal with respect to middle one, and this rotary knob, through that rotary knob I place that metallic needle exactly at the center over here. Okay, and one more outer terminal, it is kept as open. It is not connected anywhere. Right? The total resistance of this device or the internal plate resistance, it is of 10K. What I done, I connected DMM at one external outer terminal with respect to middle, and through the internal that metallic needle, it is placed or it is connected at the center of that resistive plate. That means over here. The DMM, it is powered internally with somewhat battery source. So what will happen whenever we will going to connect that DMM terminals across these two terminal of that device, the DMM we will going on to pass some current from one terminal like this. That current will enter over here and through this resistive plate, it will come up to over here, and as the current path should get complete, it will going on to flow from this middle through this metal plate, which is internally connected to the middle terminal of that potentiometer up to over here, and that current will come back like this. That means that current have to pass through half resistive path of that device. Am I right? See, I place that needle or internal metal plate which gets slide over that fixed resistive plate, right? According to the position of that knob, we can place that internal sliding metal plate anywhere between these two terminals of that internal resistive plate. First condition, or initially what I done, through that rotary knob, I placed that internal sliding metal plate exactly at the center of that fixed resistive plate. Is it? And if I connected DMM across the shown terminals over here, what will going on to happen? The DMM will going on to allow the current from one terminal, and that current will going on to pass, for example, suppose from this terminal, first outer terminal, through the resistive plate up to the center, and again will come back through the sliding metal plate. That means that movable needle towards the middle terminal of that potentiometer and will come back to the ohm meter. That means towards the DMM. Is it? That means the current have to pass through this much resistive part of that plate. Getting? And the amount of current, then again it is recalculated internally by that DMM in terms of resistance, and it is displayed on the display of that DMM. This is the basic concept. Okay. So now, instead of keeping that needle exactly at the center, I will going on to place it towards somewhat over here. Is it? And again connect the DMM or try to measure the resistance. Now what will happen? That current have to pass somewhat more resistive path as compared to previous. That means current will start again from here like this, and now it will come back from here towards the movable plate of that potentiometer. That means towards the DMM again. So here what happened? That current have to pass somewhat more resistive path as compared to previous. Is it? Now the third condition we will take, that is, instead of keeping that needle over here, I will just going on to place it at the start only. That means suppose that needle is placed over here. Third case. Again connect the DMM. Now what will happen? The current will going on to flow from DMM. Now no need to pass through resistive path, because that movable plate, it is just connected at the starting terminal of that plate, and hence immediately that current will come back like this. Is it? Are you getting? Now the third case, if I place that movable plate at the end terminal of that plate. That means over here. Now see what will happen. Now whenever you will connect the DMM, that current have to pass through the complete resistive path provided by that plate, and then it will come back towards the opposite terminal like this. Now I will ask some question to you, as this plate is of completely resistive of 10 kilo ohm plate, that internal plate. If I place the middle terminal of that movable disc at the center, that means over here, how much resistance that DMM will measure? Anyone? As it is at the center, that means the resistance will be of 5K, 5 kilo ohm. Okay. If in second case, what we done, we place that middle somewhat over here, is it? So the resistance here we can say it will be greater than 5 kilo ohm, because that current have to pass through more resistive path. It is greater than 5K. In third case, what we done, we directly place towards the start terminal only. That means over here, that red color. So what we can say, as the current don't have to pass through any resistive path, it will go on to read it as equals to 0 ohm. Right? And the last condition we consider by that green color and the position of that needle, it is at the other end of that resistive plate, which is at the over here, we can say, right? Now in this case, that current have to pass as shown over here by that green color, that current have to pass through the complete resistive path provided by that internal resistive plate. So the resistance measured by the DMM, it will be equals to total resistance, and that is 10 kilo ohm. Right? Are you getting? This is the simple construction of potentiometer, right? So here we kept one terminal permanently as open. See, this third outer terminal, outermost terminal, we do not connect it anywhere, is it? So generally what we are seeing, just connect any two terminals, outer two terminals as a short circuit, and will combinedly act as a single terminal, then one and the same thing, is it? Only the thing you have to remember, the current always pass through the minimum resistive path which we are providing to it. So that movable plate, it is minimum resistive path for the current, and where we are placing that movable part on that resistive plate, that much will be the resistance provided by the potentiometer, and that is in our hand where to place it, right? Is it clear? Now see, one more point it is remaining to explain the difference between this multi-ton potentiometer and here we can say single-ton potentiometer. We are seeing it as a single-ton, but again it is not completely single-ton. As already I told, it will be going to move from this one terminal, that means internally, that it will be going to slide from here up to over here. That means around the periphery of that device. That means rotation, again it will not be of 360 degree. It will be somewhat less than 360. But in case of multi-ton, that the shown middle terminal, by using a screwdriver, we can move it a number of times in one direction only. Is it? So what is exactly the difference in these two? So just imagine here, I will take one example. Again, if the resistance of both devices, the stream pot and rotary potentiometer, is of 10 kilo ohm. That means It is the maximum resistance provided by these two devices. Getting? It is of 10 kilo ohm maximum resistance. So see, if I want to adjust the resistance of simply we can say 5 ohm by using this rotary potentiometer. Okay, so here we are taking one example. This rotary potentiometer, this one, and the trim pot, this one. Can you visible the cursor which I am showing on the screen?
Yes,
Cursor
sir.
this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these two devices we will going on to compare now. Consider both devices have the maximum resistance of 10 kilo ohm. This multi-ton that's shown blue color trim pot, it is multi-ton. Suppose it turns 10 times and then it will going on to offer the maximum resistance as 10K. Is it? 10 rotations for this trim pot. By this, again, the rotary knob provided over here, and we can rotate it by using a screwdriver. Okay. So just imagine whenever we will going on to move it 10 times or 10 rotations, then the maximum resistance achieved, it will be of 10K by this device across two terminals. Again, the terminals are same. I will going on to measure the middle terminal with respect to any one outer one terminal. So when 10 rotations, I will be going to provide it, then the resistance measure, it will be of 10K. Now, in this potentiometer, when I will be going to move that internal rotary plate from this position to this position, that is somewhat less than 360, not one complete rotation, the resistance will going on to vary from 0 ohm to 10 kilo. Am I right? Yes or no? For this potentiometer, whenever I will want to move that internal needle by rotary knob from this position to this position, the resistance will going on to vary from 0 ohm to 10 kilo ohm. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
In
sir.
case trim pot, what I said, as it is a multi-turn, whenever we, for example, we will going on to provide the 10 rotations, okay, then the resistance achieved or it will vary from 0 ohm to 10 kilo ohm, right? Now, my requirement is I require the resistance or I have to set the resistance, for example, we will take here 25 ohms. By these two, how much resistance we have to set? Only 25 ohm. So in this case, what you have to do? You have to change this rotary knob slightly or with very small angle. Yes or no? Hello friends, are you getting bored? Hello everyone. Okay. So we will stop over here. In next lecture, we will see what is the significance of that multi-ton potentiometer over a single-ton potentiometer.